it's difficult, if not impossible, to define time without referring to time itself. We can say time is the duration between the past and the present, but that's just like saying time is the time between. But in order to think about time, we have to define it in some way. So let's agree that time is the space or the distance or the duration between a point in the past and now, or a point in the past and tomorrow morning, or tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening. So we can't make sense of time without, in some way, referring to the past and the future. So now, in your actual experience, have you ever left what we call now and visited that place we refer to as the past? Not thought about it. We can all think about it, but when we think about the past, our thought doesn't take place in the past. It takes place now. But have we ever actually experienced the place that we refer to as the past?
No.
Has anyone ever been there or experienced it? Could anyone ever experience it?
No, I don't think so.
Because if they had an experience of it, it would be, by definition, an experience that takes place now. But experiences, by definition, takes place now. Likewise, no one's ever had an experience of the future. Now, if nobody, none of the billions of people who have existed, if nobody has, for a moment, experienced a past or a future, could it be that our model of time is simply that, a model which is necessary for everyday life, but a model that doesn't accurately portray the nature of reality? Because surely, in order to build a model of reality, we must start with our experience. Either we start with our experience or we start with an abstract model, but then we could choose any model at all. So if our models are going to be grounded in reality, they must start with something that is verifiable in our experience. And nobody has ever experienced a past or a future. And therefore, so let me ask you another question. You experience what we call now. We are all experiencing. We know what we mean when we say now. Now, is it your experience that now is a fleeting moment?
No.
Or is it your experience that now is ever present?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems somehow almost inextricably connected to awareness itself.
Exactly. If I were to ask you, Connor, how many moments of now have you experienced since we've been talking to each other? What would you say?
Mean, like infinite. It's
no. It's not infinite moments. It's just one. It's just one experience. The now is always one. You haven't actually experienced infinite moments. You only experience infinite moments if you believe that time is that the now is a fraction of a second. Then, if our experience of the now was a fraction of a second, then indeed we would have experienced millions of them. But we're not experiencing millions of fractions of a second. No, it's just always now. And given that you've admitted I've never experienced the past or the future, can you really say that it is your experience that now is moving along a line of time, or is the now stationary?
Yeah, that's a little bit more challenging, but it would seem as though it's more of a stationary position.
It's stationary because we have no experience of a line of time between the past and the future through which the now could be moving. The experience of now is stationary. It's stable, and it is awareness, as you rightly observed. The now is the presence of awareness. It's not going anywhere. It hasn't come from somewhere. It is eternal, and by eternal I mean ever present, not everlasting. It is in a vertical dimension, not a horizontal dimension. However, when we think about that vertical dimension, the eternal now, thought refracts it and spreads out the eternal and makes it seem like the everlasting. So I would suggest that time is what consciousness looks like when it is refracted through thought. And just to give you something else to consider, we don't have time to go into it. I would suggest that space is what consciousness looks like when refracted through sense perception. In other words, time and space are not fundamental to reality. The reality is dimensionless consciousness. It only appears as time and space when refracted through the prismic activity of thinking and perceiving.